Hello, Paul here, and I'm excited to take you through the 2015 release of Photoshop CC. I'm going to focus on graphic designers and illustrators. And to be honest with you, I've actually started out on my iPad just to show you that you can actually create content on your mobile device and then sync it to your desktop, whether it's brushes or a layout in Adobe Comp CC like I did, and that content's going to be available to you. It's called Creative Sync, that's just its name, but your content's going to be everywhere where you expect it. But let's go ahead and check it out, see what we have in Photoshop right now. Here's the layout that I've actually pushed or sent to Photoshop. Also, right over here, we see our images, and then we even have our brushes. So as a creative, I can come in here, use this butterfly brush that I've created, and just start adding a couple, painting those in just for fun. Well, let's get a little creative with this and use those butterflies as a mask. I've used that brush. I'm going to scroll down here and you can see this. I actually love this image, but where did this image come from and where did most of these come from? Well, they came from Adobe Stock. So I'm going to go up here, check this out. I'm going to search Adobe Stock. Here I am on Adobe Stock. I can do a search for, say, biking, just like that. It will search over 40 million images. I've actually licensed some of these photos, okay? And look, it's actually saved to bike and hike. As we take a look, right over here, this is my bike and hike library. So if I might possibly need some icons, but I'm not sure, well, sure, I could license it, but it's better off to save a preview of it, and that's going to get saved to that same libraries folder. We'll do one more image, this bike image, saving a preview of that one as well. All right, so you can see back here in Photoshop, we have our preview images as well as the images that I've purchased, and I can always drop them in and start using them immediately. Notice also for these preview images, it does say Adobe Stock right here. There is a watermark. If at any time I want to license it, well, I can select License Image, all right? So it does make it seamless. I didn't have to go to a Downloads folder or deal with any of that. It's really just a matter of licensing it, and Creative Sync takes care of everything else. I want to go beyond this though. I can start creating a layout like I'm doing right now, just kind of adjusting the size and everything. So this could be my poster. I can resize this logo, position it right over here, whatever we need to do to make this look nice. And really what I'd want to do in this scenario is make multiple posters. So this could mean multiple PSDs, maybe multiple layer groups, but just like in Illustrator, I'd like to introduce you to Artboards. Okay, so we have Artboards from layers is what I'm going to do right now. I can make as many Artboards as I want. So I can go ahead and say design. There's my design. Okay, and in fact, I'll just relabel this design 1. And it says design 1 and it nests everything nice and neat right in there. Now what I can also do is I can duplicate this artboard as well. So we could have design 2. Because that's what I'd want to do. Rather than having, multiple PSDs, I'd like to have them all in one area just like that. I'll drop in this camping background just like that. And if I put it inside of this design to artboard, you can see that you have clipping that takes place. And let's say, for instance, I want to use another element like this image right here. I can take this asset and I can always move it between artboards. I can take this asset, bring it right over here. It's actually going to snap it right into place. And what does it do? It actually moves it inside of that artboard. So you don't need to really worry about organizing artboards. They organize themselves in this case. I'm actually going to take a look at these images. I want to do a couple things with them. So these are actually connected to my Creative Cloud library. So they're using Creative Sync. Everywhere where I change it, it's going to change it everywhere where I'm using it. Now, what I want to do with these three guys here is I want to move them. Now, the content-aware technology is actually 10 times faster. Trust me, try it out. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about because it's immediate. When I move these guys, it's going to be immediate. But what do I get right now? Well, I get transform controls. This is great because this is typically what I'd want to do when I move elements. I need to resize them as well. So I can make them larger. Well, that's less majestic. In fact, let's make them a lot smaller, right? Just like that. Let's move them forward a little bit, just like that. Hit enter, and that's the case where you typically would see a progress bar, but you don't anymore. Again, that's much more majestic. I'm saving this file And remember, by closing this file, it's actually going to update everywhere. Now, when I say everywhere, I really haven't used these files like many places, but I want to show you what you can do. Because in this case, I have these two assets. I have the bike logo here, I have the bike logo here as well. And not only that, even in Illustrator, I have access to that same Creative Cloud library. So I can come in here, grab that logo, and drop it in this design as well. So there it is in 3 places, and what I want to do at this point is I can update it. Now keep in mind that it has this little cloud icon. That means it's connected to a library using Creative Sync. All I really need to do is double click on it, and now I can change this asset. I'm going to change this from a wheel to a bike. It's updated in both places, here and here, as well as in Illustrator. Okay, so it updates everywhere. In this case of a logo, that logo is going to be updated everywhere, whether it's an image, whatever the case may be. But the great thing about this, guys, check this out. Share link. I can actually share this library with someone else, and that person will be able to have access to that updated logo, and it can automatically update for them as well. Probably the most powerful and helpful feature in my opinion. And since I did mention Illustrator, we've had this in Illustrator for a while, and now we actually have it in Photoshop, a glyphs panel. I know this is a top feature request, and I'm happy to show it off to you guys, but either way, I can take these assets, any one of them, right-click, and I can quickly export as a PNG file, just like that, exporting it to my desktop. Here it is. This is design background, done and done. Even if it's that whole design, I can export as PNG or do an export as directly from the layers panel. Here it is, changing it to a JPEG, dropping down the quality, exporting it out as design too. And we also have our export menu where I was exporting as PNG. We can also save all of those artboards to PDF to show to others. And let's not forget about our generate feature for generating image assets. And one final thing I'm going to do in this design is to show you that you can jump in, and I'm just going to quickly add some layer styles. Say for instance to this image right here. It gets lost a little bit. I can add a layer style. And actually what I did at that point is I've actually added multiple effects. So look, you have multiple gradient overlays. You have a sort of a yellowish cast and then a bluish cast, just to show that you can have multiple layer effects on one particular layer. As you can see, that's done. I can click OK. You get the idea. You can see how you can do a number of cool effects that just weren't possible before. So there's a lot you can do in Photoshop from a graphic designer's perspective and an illustrator's perspective. Honestly, I hardly grazed the surface. Many more features, but I'm going to have to save that for another day. Thanks so much for watching.